Idera SharePoint Enterprise Manager is designed to make SharePoint administration and security management quicker and easier. Using SharePoint Enterprise Manager, you can accomplish in minutes the administrative tasks that used to require hours or days. We can use Enterprise Manager to delegate and allow only the users we want access to the features provided. We can select the user from Active Directory, and then using selections in the user management, refine what they can see and where they can use the tool. Features can be selected and assigned to a user individually as required or by selecting in bulk. We can narrow down what is shown when executing these features from full farm all the way through to individual site access. We can even change the access level per feature, ensuring very tight controls on access to the system. Next, we'll look at some user management options. Here, we're able to copy, grant, and even revoke permissions for SharePoint users and groups, as well as identify any dead accounts which exist in Active Directory but have been left active in SharePoint. To run a feature in Enterprise Manager, click the corresponding link and start to follow the options it presents. Here we can apply filters to narrow down results and select the scope in which we want to search in. First, we're going to see confirmation of the results that are found in SharePoint, and when we run the analysis, that detail will be cross-checked against the accounts in Active Directory. The report will then show which users have been found and who can be safely removed from SharePoint. Drilling into Manage Permissions will allow us to manipulate permissions for sites, lists, and individual items, as well as letting us build and compare security snapshots. A security snapshot will show all of the security groups and users that exist and can act as a baseline for that period of time. For any snapshot reports we generate, we can export them and save them for future reference, and even compare multiple snapshots over a period of time to identify where change is happening. So we'll look at that process next. Again, we start off by drilling into the Manage Permissions menu, but this time select Compare Permissions. We can compare multiple snapshots in time or select a site to gather live data and a snapshot from a period in the past. Once both selections are made, a new report is generated showing the data side by side, highlighting what changes have been made as well as details relating to them. We can see in the example here that a user no longer exists in both sites, clearly defined by the red warning icon. Every so often, we find users adding or reading information from libraries they shouldn't have access to. This is often down to unique permissions. We can run a report to quickly identify, based on object selections we make, where unique permissions exist, and also take steps to resolve it through the tool. For any items, lists, or even sites that aren't inheriting permissions, we can select them from the console and switch them back to inherit. Using reporting in the tool, we can start to gather a picture of who has access and specifically from where. We can identify access based on user groups or individual users. Based on some initial report selections, we'll get a clear picture of users in AD groups and permissions applied through SharePoint groups or directly. Building on this, we can start to drill deeper into user permissions and analyze exactly what permissions are used when gaining access to objects. By running the User Permissions Analyzer, we can take a user or a user group and with the aid of color-coded indicators, see at a glance what access they have to a site, and even drill down and see specifically the security information that grants it. So drilling into the details of a list, for example, will show the security information relating to that user, explaining how access to it was granted. Idera SharePoint Enterprise Manager lets you report on the user permissions of one or more objects in your SharePoint farm. You specify the information that you want to appear in the Object Permissions report, you select the object that is the target of the report, and you control whether or not children of the specified object appear, and specifically what types of child object. After you specify the report options, SharePoint Enterprise Manager can immediately create the report and display it as PDF, or you can schedule the report for later execution, stipulating the frequency and where you want to send the report. You can have it emailed or sent directly to a document library within SharePoint. Once the report is generated, you'll have access to very specific detail relating to all queries of who has access to what and from where. For additional information, please head to www.idera.com and look out for other training videos in our virtual education series.